Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into another recruiting throwback video. This time going over some guys from the 2018, 2019, 2020 classes that are down to their last chance. These are elite five-star talents who have maybe struggled their first few years in college football, but they've got one more chance to turn it around and they've got a lot of potential. So I'm going to go through some guys that need a big season. They are multiple years into their college career. It hasn't gone well so far, but they've got immense talent. So let's talk about them. The first guy, this is the only guy from the 2018 class. I believe he's using his pandemic year. You know, they give everyone an extra free year due to the pandemic. It's going to be Xavier Thomas, the former number 3 overall recruit. He transferred to IMG. He went to Clemson, and guys, it's so unfortunate. You take Xavier Thomas, built like a bulldog, pass rusher, and what a really good true freshman season he had. 14 games, 8.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. It looked like he was well on his way to being the next big superstar pass rusher at Clemson, guaranteed top 5 pick. Look how he was built, and unfortunately for him, he's dealt with some injuries. He's dealt with some off-the-field issues. He needs a big 2022, and I believe, I didn't realize he had already been in college for 4 years, but I believe he is coming back to Clemson for the 2022 season. He's using that free extra year. He needs a big year to get drafted in the first round. We'll see if he can do it. We know he has the talent to do it. He certainly does. The next guy is going to be from the 2019 class, Spencer Rattler, committed to Oklahoma, the number 1 overall quarterback. You take a look at his recruiting ranking, 11th overall. This time last year, if I would have looked at his recruiting ranking and seen he was 11th overall, I would have said he's underrated, because he was, at this time last year, this dude was the lock of the century to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft. Of course, it didn't work out. It was really surprising to see a Lincoln Riley-led offense with a superstar talent like Spencer Rattler struggle after he had that great sophomore year. It's very rare to see a talent, especially a 5-star talent in that system, take a legitimate step back to where, I mean, he was struggling his junior year. We've seen the offense in college football. It's crazy. But this dude at Oklahoma really regressed. And now he's on South Carolina. It's going to be pretty tough. The talent is still there. The 5-star ability is still there. He's got some Pat Mahomes in him. But it's going to be tough. Not as much talent on South Carolina, and you're facing tougher defenses in the SEC. Obviously, this is his last chance, Spencer Rattler. We'll see if he can do something. Next, it's going to be JADON HASELWOOD. There's actually 2 really elite wide receivers on this list. The first one is HASELWOOD. This kid is in a very tough situation. The number 4 overall player for a receiver, being the 4th overall player, is extremely, extremely impressive. Number 1 overall receiver from Georgia, ends up going to Oklahoma, wanting to play for Lincoln Riley. Riley bolts to USC. HASELWOOD bolts to Arkansas. Maybe trying to follow the Treylon Burks path. I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. I really think this kid is on the path of being, unfortunately, a big recruiting bust. It's not there yet. You take a look at his numbers at Oklahoma. I mean, he appeared in 12 games his junior season, under 400 yards. He did have 6 touchdowns, and we know the talent. When you're the number 4 overall player, you've got immense talent. Can he use that ability with Arkansas? It'll be really interesting. I think he's trending towards being a big bust, but he's got 1 more year left to prove that he is, a potential top draft pick. The next guy we're going to be talking about, TREY Sanders. So injuries have been a major factor with this 5-star from IMG Academy. The number 6 overall player, the number 1 running back, commits to Alabama. You take a look at his first 2 years at Alabama. Yeesh. That average per carry, the one thing that I always look at, 4.4, that is horrible for a college running back. He's been injured. He couldn't even beat out Brian Robinson last year. Nothing against Brian Robinson, but you would think if you're the number 6 overall player going into your sophomore season, it's, you see what guys like TreVeyon Henderson do their true freshman year. You think it would be time to go. He's dealt with injuries, but there are some reports from Alabama that are saying this kid, you could be looking at this kid not starting this year at Bama and then hitting the transfer portal. I think things could get really bad for Trey Sanders. He needs to stay healthy. He needs a big junior year. If he doesn't have a big junior year, transfer portal. Oh, he's hitting the transfer portal 100%. He needs a big year. The next guy, this is actually an offensive tackle, so it's going to be Logan Brown, who was the number 17th overall player, the number 4 offensive tackle in the country, clear 5-star from Michigan, and he actually went to Wisconsin. We always hear about Wisconsin being able to develop all these 3-star offensive linemen. Well, they actually got a 5-star offensive lineman, and it's looking like he's going to be a bust. Isn't it funny how you think like Wisconsin, they get all these 3-stars. Imagine if they could get more talent. Imagine them with a 5-star. Well, they got a 5-star Logan Brown. He might be a bust. He has not had a good start to his career at all. He needs, I think he's going into his junior season. He needs a big junior season. His PFF grade has not been good. They've been talking about him. He's a big guy. He's built really well. This is a potential first-round pick, former 5-star. Wisconsin finally gets a 5-star offensive tackle from the state of Michigan. He needs a big junior year. He really does. The next guy is going to be Bo Nix. Maybe shouldn't have included Bo Nix on here because he was the 33rd overall player. The number 1 overall dual threat quarterback has now transferred from Auburn to Oregon, but I think this kid was just overranked from the outset personally, and he is kind of a playmaker. I'm actually high on Bo Nix going to Oregon. I think people are sleeping on him a little bit. Very mobile quarterback. We'll see how he does it, and maybe, again, 33rd overall player. It's not like he's had that bad of a college career now. Is he going to be like an early 2nd-round pick? I don't think so. So looking at it from that perspective, I guess you could say he's a bust. But yeah, this is his last chance. Getting out of Auburn, going to Oregon through the transfer portal. It'll be interesting. Very mobile quarterback. Going to be fun to see Bo Nix on Oregon. The next guy, and this one hurts me, Julian Fleming, the other receiver that I was referencing, the number 3 overall player, which is just for a receiver. This kid is one of the highest ranked receiver recruits ever in history of recruiting. Julian Fleming, it pains me. He's dealt with injuries, and I think Julian Fleming is a hamstring injury away from the transfer portal, unfortunately. The Ohio State receiver room is just so talented right now. You've got JSN. You've got Emeka Egbuka. You've got Marvin Harrison Jr. It's so talented, along with a few other top 100 guys. Julian Fleming needs to stay healthy, and I hope the Buckeyes give this dude a chance early in the season to get, 7 or 8 targets at least a game. This is a super athlete. This is the number 3 overall player in the country. Let's show him some respect. And you take a look at his seasons, his first 2 seasons at Ohio State. 12 catches for 86 yards his sophomore season. It's disgusting. We got to get this guy some down the field touches. Get him some targets. We need to get Julian Fleming some targets. Just 1 total touchdown. This is an immense elite talent. Really good wide receiver body. He's just got to stay healthy. He's just got to get on the field. You pair him with JSN. You've also got, again, Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka. These are really talented players. With Julian, it's very delicate. It's a delicate situation. He gets a hamstring injury. He's out maybe, a few games. He could look to transfer. So Julian Fleming is on the brink right now at Ohio State. He needs a big junior season. The next guy we're going to be talking about was the highest rated tight end recruit in recruiting history, ARIK Gilbert, who ended up committing to LSU as the number 5 overall player in the entire country. the #1 tight end and the #1 player from the state of Georgia, which is an extremely talented state. To be a tight end and to be the #5 overall player, you basically got to be a god recruit. And this dude is just a lethal weapon. He ends up transferring out of LSU, going back home to Georgia. Didn't play at all in 2021. Dealing with some off-the-field issues, I believe. This kid is really just, I think the pandemic year really hurt him. I really do. But this kid is an absolute weapon, and we will see. Again, it is just 2 years into his career, but there's been some off-the-field problems. This is the #1 overall tight end in recruiting history. The recruiting services need this kid to start performing, or it's going to be a real bad look. Okay, I'm just saying that. He's got, what does he have, 35? His first year at LSU, 8 games, 368, 2 touchdowns. This kid's a matchup nightmare. Could you imagine this kid on Ohio State or Alabama? Oh, the fact Georgia, it's just like, although they do have Brock Bowers, who was a true freshman last year, right? This kid he may not even start. Why would you go back to Georgia? Oh no, not a good situation there. The next prospect we're going to be looking at is a guy that really has got to step it up. Jordan BURCH, the #8 overall player, the #2 overall defensive tackle, and the #1 player in the state of South Carolina, commits to South Carolina over Clemson. Yes, what a recruiting win. South Carolina has some players. Spencer Rattler, they got a transfer tight end from Oklahoma as well. They also have another pass rusher, I think Zach Pickens. They've got some talent on that team. I like that. But this kid, you got to start playing better, man. His freshman year, his sophomore year, he's combined for just 1 sack in how many games? 18 games and 5 total tackles for loss. You got to step it up a little bit. He's got time. He's only going into his junior season. But you know what? It's getting late early with some of these kids. You got to step it up. You got to start playing better. And then also we've got DJ Uiagalelei. What an interesting college career. We remember DJ back his true freshman season, filling in for Trevor Lawrence at Notre Dame. He throws for 370 yards. Everyone's like, oh, he's the next big thing. And last year, it was a total regression. He had an even worse year than Spencer Rattler did. 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions for DJ last year at Clemson. He's going into his junior year. Needless to say, he's got a 5-star quarterback Clemson just signed that's breathing down his neck. He needs to play well. This is truly, we understand he's only a junior. This is his last chance at Clemson for sure, because they have got a superstar quarterback prospect. He needs to play well early, and last year it just did not work out. So DJ Uiagalelei, he's got to start showing, the former number 10 overall player, he's got to start showing some things. Next, we've got Zach Evans, who committed to TCU. From the state of Texas, the number 16 overall player, number 2 overall running back. This kid had a wild recruitment. Everyone thought he was going to go to Georgia. It ended up not working out. He goes to TCU. He ends up hitting the transfer portal, and now he is on Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin with that offense. But you take a look at his stats at TCU. He's averaging 7.5 yards per carry. I looked up his stats. I was pretty surprised. I was like, wow, 7.5 yards per carry in 2 seasons, 9 touchdowns. But this kid needs a big year. I do like the transfer to Ole Miss. They've got a very good offense. Lane Kiffin, you should be able to scheme him, and he could be the type of guy to have a big junior year and just say, adios, I'm going to the NFL, not too much wear and tear off my body, only 146 total carries through his first 2 seasons. You put up a big junior season, it's perfect timing, you're a second-round pick just like that. That's how it's done. Zach Evans, we'll see if he can do it. He comes in on this list. And then also another running back who is transferred, DEMARKCUS BOWMAN, who was the number 20 overall player, number 3 overall running back from the state of Florida. He commits to Clemson, and it was a tough true freshman year at Clemson, playing in just 2 games. And having a total of 32 yards before transferring out after his true freshman season back to his home state, back to Florida University. He hits the transfer portal, and in 2021, he really struggled to find any sort of footing. He appeared in 4 games, 14 carries, just 81 yards. He has yet to record a college touchdown in his 2-year career. So there's another running back. You still have time. You've still got a chance. There's not a lot of wear and tear on you. You're a former 5-star. We know your potential. He needs to really turn it on. I just wanted to go through a few guys that are 5-star players that really got to have a big year if they want to fulfill that 5-star potential. But guys, that's going to do it for this video, for this recruiting throwback. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.